Hello and welcome to Promenade Française, the place where you will not be learning French. On this channel, we're trying to develop a habit to learn French. And in order to learn a habit to learn French, there are a lot of things that we need to have in our hands. One of those things is a collection of resources, and the other thing that we need is the motivation to push us forward. Perhaps you're using some other apps or you're using some other websites and you are finding some success with those resources. And in that case, I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you because for me, I'm just having a really hard time pushing forward with the French language. Slow progress is better than no progress. And I am making some progress. Perhaps there's a few things that we could talk about today just to do a recap on the last 15 videos into this series of Can Blaine Learn French? Obviously, the answer is yes, Blaine can and will learn French. It's just a matter of time. In running, there's generally two elements to the speed that you can run. One is the stride length, and one is the stride pace. Stride length, it's the distance between your feet. So let's say you're a giant and you can walk 10 meters at a time. Or if you're an ant, then you can move like less than 10 meters. So that's the length, the stride length. Stride pace is the time between when one foot hits the ground and then the next foot hits the ground. You have to multiply those two things together. The distance multiplied by the time. Anyways, what does that mean in French? The stride length is the words. It's the new concept. It's the new thing that you're learning. Let's give some examples. In French, there's basically two concepts for how you can learn. The first concept is memorizing sentences. If you have already memorized the first two sentences, the first 15 videos, you learn two sentences. Tu es très mignon. Comment vas-tu ce matin? If you've learned those two sentences, then, what did they actually mean? Actually, I don't know if I'm really deeply aware of the meaning of those sentences. I remember when I was learning Chinese, it took quite a while before my brain could hear a Chinese word and automatically understand the meaning of that word. And I remember when I started learning Russian that I didn't have to make that step. If you're learning your first foreign language, it's likely that you hear the French word and then you translate it to English and then you understand it. But when I hear Chinese, I just directly understand it. And when I hear Russian, like lower level Russian, I just immediately understand it. And right now I hear these two sentences. Bonjour Sam. Okay, obviously I know bonjour Sam. Tu es très mignon. And I don't really have a feeling for what that means. Comment vas-tu ce matin? When I hear those sentences, my brain doesn't automatically tell me the meaning. I have to translate it into English, and then I understand what those sentences mean. That's the first concept, is just understanding and memorizing different types of sounds and patterns. Eventually, as you know, we have a couple of different exercises. The slide exercise, if you go to the Linktree link above and you see there's a step 1 and step 2. If you click step 1, then you're going to have access to two different exercises. One is a Google link that takes you to some videos, and they're more like audios, and they will help you to learn those two sentences. That's the first link. You just flip through these videos and you can hear the audio and you can practice word by word. It adds a word in each video, and at the end of that process, you're going to be able to say those two sentences. Whoopie-doo, right? Two sentences. The second concept when you're learning a language is understanding grammar, which means that you can switch out words. The second exercise in that link, it's an exercise that can help you to switch out some words. For example, tu means you, tu es très mignon. So you can switch that out to je, or il, or elle, or nous, or vous. You can see, I'm still struggling even to understand and remember the basic personal pronouns. That means we're at the very beginning. the difference between Chinese and French is that you don't say tu es, so you are, and then like for me, I don't say je ai, and for he and she, you don't say il est and elle est. Well, I mean, actually you do, but the thing is that it's spelled differently. Anyways, there's a different way to say I am, is. I mean, even in English, I am, he is, she is, they are. We have some slight differences also in the way that we conjugate these verbs, even in English, but in French, you always have to make that change. And that's the second concept of learning a language, is understanding these little grammatical changes. Tu es très mignon. And then mignon, of course, the next challenge is to go to the second step. In the Linktree link, there's the second step where there are a couple of different exercises where you can practice the concept of adjectives, and you can see how adjectives change. You can see how adjectives are singular or plural. The most difficult example was the one that's like, you are, vous êtes très belle. So vous êtes très belle, belle, B-E-L-L-E, that's singular. We know that vous in this case is the formal way of saying you, but it's also the plural form of you, like you guys. Hey, you guys. So if you say you guys are beautiful or you gals are beautiful, then in that case, you still say vous êtes très belle. But in this case, you write it B-E-L-L-E-S. And those are 3 exercises that you can connect with the Linktree link above. And you can understand the way that you can change those sentences around. So, okay, wow, we have the exercises, but the thing is that is, like I've been telling you all along, that's a facilitation trigger. And how much studying did I actually do this week? Moment of truth, as you can see in some of the videos below where I failed some challenges, I'm putting in a huge amount of effort to make these videos and also to create exercises, but then what happens when I don't actually do the exercise? So it means that there's something wrong. I need a spark trigger, or I need to figure out how to change the exercise to some extent so that I'm able to, do an exercise a day. Like, what about this challenge? Like an exercise a day. Can we do an exercise a day? Is that a worthy challenge? Can we do an exercise, one exercise a day next week? Because you're not going to learn French. I'm not going to learn French unless we actually make those strides. Maybe those strides, it takes 1 whole week or 2 weeks to learn one sentence, but we have to actually learn sentences. We actually have to learn grammar. We have to do exercises. All right. So is it 1 exercise per week? Is it 1 exercise per day? Is it 1 exercise per hour? Whatever speed you decide to go, that's going to determine how much you learn. That's going to determine how much I learn. And so we got to figure out a way to speed things up.